The Mau Mau Uprising by Aiden Lam, Daniel Liu, and Juan Kong. Causes of the war. There are many factors that played a part in the outbreak of this rebellion. Before the rebellion, the British Empire had colonized Kenya. The British had taken another people's land. They then put harsh colonial policies on the natives, and there was also forced labor. This was a result of the oppressive rule the British had. The native people were also stripped of many human rights, and the British would not give up this territory because they feared that the Soviets would set up spheres of influence throughout Africa. This is one of the main connections this uprising has to the Cold War. Major nations involved. Unlike more well-known proxy wars that happened throughout the Cold War, the Mau Mau Uprising did not have many countries that played a part in it. The main nations that were involved in this war are the Mau Mau rebels and the British. The Mau Mau rebels are an anti-colonial force that fought back against the British rule. They wanted to reclaim the land that was once theirs. The British had colonized Kenya in 1920 and instated a government with British rule in Kenya. Uganda and southern Rhodesia also played small roles in the uprising because they supported the British. Prominent people of the war from the native side. Although there are many important people in the Mau Mau Uprising, these are the main ones from the Mau Mau side. Jomo Kenyatta was the political leader in the uprising. He was falsely accused of leading the uprising and was imprisoned. He then became Kenya's first president. General China was the military leader of this uprising. He was captured and then negotiated with the British. Bildad Kagia was one of the members of the Kapingiria Six, which was a group of important nationalists. He helped align Mau Mau goals with their independence.
These are the main prominent figures on the British side of the uprising. Sir Evelyn Baring was the governor of the British government in Kenya. He oversaw the uprising and he was the main figure in the British's response to the revolution. Sir Philip Mitchell was the former governor of Kenya. He did not respond well to African grievances, which set the stage for the uprising. General Sir George Erskine was the British Army commander. He directed the counterattacks against the rebellion and committed many atrocities in doing so.
Quotes from prominent figures. During Jomo Kenyatta's trial in 1952, he said, "We are not Mau Mau. We do not know who the Mau Mau are. We are the Kenya African Union. We fight for freedom by peaceful means." He said this because he was accused of being associated with the Mau Mau. In General China's autobiography published in 1967, he says, "We had to fight for our land. We knew the cost would be high, but we were ready to die rather than live as slaves." This shows his determination to free his country.
What the? Why is Joanne calling me?
This is a timeline of the Mau Mau Uprising. In October 1952, a state of emergency was declared by the British government set up in Kenya due to increased attacks in central Kenya. This marked the beginning of the war. Members of the Kapingiria Six were also arrested and accused of leading the revolution. In 1953, the Lari massacre took place. The Mau Mau killed over 70 British loyalists, and the British retaliated with mass violent arrests. Also, in 1953, General Sir George Erskine was appointed to lead the military campaign against the revolution. In April 1954, Operation Anvil took place. The British forces swept through Nairobi. They then proceeded to arrest thousands of people that were suspected of having ties with the Mau Mau. In 1955, the British offered amnesty to many Mau Mau fighters. Most of the fighters declined the offer. In October 1965, Dedan Kimathi was captured by the British officer Ian Henderson. This was devastating for the Mau Mau. In February 1957, Dedan Kimathi was executed in Committee Prison. The Mau Mau resistance then began to slowly decline. In 1960, the state of emergency was finally lifted after 8 long years. This marked the official end of the uprising, as the tough efforts of the Mau Mau paid off.
The Mau Mau Uprising had many impacts, both short-term and long-term. These are some of the main short-term ones. People that were banned by the British government were later unbanned. 8,000 secret files and recordings by the British government were later discovered. This uprising accumulated around 30,000 to 60,000 deaths. These are the main long-term impacts of the uprising. The new leaders of Kenya forced the British to make political returns. African political parties were reinstated. The people of Kenya paved the way to eventual independence, and the Kenya Human Rights Commission, or the KHRC, was created. The British also had to pay around $20 million in damages.